So, previously, on Cloudy with a Slight Chance of Dragons, our glorious heroes managed to fulfill the 9th quest. They're just one step away from their goal. It is a big time to contemplate, but I think they both want their immortality back, so whatever makes All-Father's fancy will do. And this time, they have to hide a princess. But for some reason, they've been teleported to a desert, next to some abandoned camp, for anything. But hey, at least it's not wet or cold.
I see.
So guys, what are you going to do? Looking about yourself, there's nothing more than sand dunes to whatever side you're looking at. The sun is not yet at the peak, so you're not frying yet. So the best choice looks like camp, but it's up to you.
Yeah, we like camps.
Especially abandoned ones.
Yeah,
Yeah, the most fun.
we found a lot of during our adventures. So why not checking this one?
What kind of what sort of a desert are we in? Is this sand or?
Yes, sand. All about you. A whole bunch of sand dunes. Right now it's not windy, but probably you don't want to get there when it's windy.
Yeah.
So what do you think, Greta? Should we trying to find out what's this camp nearby about?
Agrada eyes then remembering what just happened. Touching his hammer with the new gem, thinking about lost companions. Well, for now, let's check this camp out. Let's see.
All
I
right.
guess I'm approaching first, and Agrota is nearby. I think.
Sure.
How far away is that?
Yeah.
It's not too far. Actually, it's just right on the next sand dune. It doesn't take you too long, but yes, mostly it's just tents. You look inside one of them. They're quite peculiarly made. Just a whole bunch of sticks to hold several layers of cloth. From the outside, they are completely white, but on the inside, there are a couple more layers, and they are black. Mostly, there's not too many things here. A couple of rugs, several puffs, probably for sleeping or just laying your head low. Looks like pretty rich camp if you serve by desert standards, but it doesn't seem to be anyone around. Luckily for you, since there's no wind around at the moment, looking at the tracks on the sand is quite easy. Danelan, in particular, can find out that there's been at least a couple of dozen people, or so you'd think at first when you look at the tracks. They would be more akin to something lizard-like. It's strange. The tracks are definitely from a bipedal, but yeah, the feet are not human-like or elf at all. Looks more of a draconic or lizard thing.
Oh.
And these trails are following to the camp, or from the camp?
It's all around in the camp. If you start looking about and just like seeing where did the tracks lead, like what happened here and stuff like this, you, Dalen, you start to recreate in your mind quite a weird battle scene. You think that those lizard things, they were jumping from one side to the other as if they were dodging something. Then they try to just lay low, but it looks like in places where sand was particularly down poured by probably one of their bodies, you don't see any trails leading out of there. Basically, somebody laid on the ground and then just boom, he's not even there. Like, there's no tracks leading away from that. It seems that they were trying to either avoid or get a grip on something, but it's nobody here.
Yeah, I guess I share my findings with Agrita. Well, I think it was some kind of raid battle here, but I see no trails of, and I see no blood or some weapons and so on. Yeah, nothing except those lizards-like footsteps, right?
Yes. If you continue searching through the tents that are littered here and there in this makeshift camp, you can find even a couple of sort of shoes specifically tailored to those kind of feet. Agrodar kind of looks at them and, they do look familiar. They are shoes of one of the people that kind of trails their descendants to you, Agrita. They are definitely lizard people, but maybe not all of them can remember you.
Yeah.
So yes, this is what you find. However, of course, you are welcome to search further if you want.
Are the tents intact?
Yes, they are.
No damage?
It seems no damage after taking the tents. Even though all of them are opened for some reason. Like, none of them had, like, closed shutters. All of them are opened.
I guess I'm going to search the camp. How big it is, by the way?
It is around, like, 50 by 50 meters, something like this.
Oh, not so big.
Not so big.
Yeah, I'd like a further search around the tents and looking inside as well, one by one, and looking for something that can guide me what happened here. Maybe some other, I can find some other clues.
Good, good. You can use your wisdom and maybe even your trusty Panther can help you. We'll see about that.
Yeah.
At least she would feel better in any of the tents rather than in intense heat because she is black, you know.
Yeah, she don't like the heat at all. Okay,
so
let's see.
Definitely, let's see that. Good,
nice.
Good.
Yeah.
So, what questions do you want to be answered?
What happened here recently is the main question.
Gaining a bit more of understanding and kind of getting the better grip on the situation. You and your Panther can kind of calculate that whatever was fighting with this lizard people was flying. And it basically took them. There are some tracks leading out of the camp, but you can determine that they're the tracks that are leading towards it. They came here, they made camp, and somewhere during probably early evening, or maybe even during the night, somebody took them.
But it happened quite recently, just maybe a day or two before, or can I
Less
find
than a
out?
day.
Less than a day. Okay. Yeah, it makes sense because we are in a desert and any wind can just clear all the steps on the sand, I believe.
Yes.
Anything else I can find out about the creatures? How big they are? What are the danger? Except they are flying and can take the lizard man.
The lizard men you can know about, definitely. The creatures that took them would be more problematic because you don't see any blood or like claw marks or anything. You're not sure like how did they manage to snatch those big lizard men, because from the looks of it they are slightly smaller than Agritar, but they're still bigger than you.
Yeah.
So they would be quite formidable warriors, or at least a threat to be reckoned with. But it seems that the enemy they were facing managed to took them either completely unawares, at least at first, and took the majority of them, and then the rest kind of panicked and didn't know what to do. What caused the panic could be anything. Like maybe the creatures were frightening, maybe
Terrifying. Even.
maybe the lizard men themselves were too cowardly. Who knows?
So, just because they didn't leave any clues, those creatures, can I tell they are clever or maybe intelligent ones?
Well, they definitely need to be intelligent in order to pull that off. Because if they would be feral, they would probably just kill the creatures. Maybe eat them.
That would have been science.
But in this case, they just took them.
Okay, and the last question I think would be, did I find anything useful during my search?
Useful. So, definitely, there are some rich clothes for lizard men lying about. There's definitely several sacks of carefully stored water and food supplies.
That's
And of course, there are some just necessary equipment to go about the desert, such as sticks and shoes that let you step on a bigger surface, so to speak. Like snowshoes, but desert shoes.
Well, nice. So, I call her Agrita. I think we have something here, something useful for us. At least we will not starve here.
so. Yeah, we should replenish our rations. I mean, there should be enough to fill up 5 rations or more.
Yes, you can.
At least something.
Yeah, definitely.
And we can feel ourselves more protected in the desert right now.
I mean, inside the tents, definitely.
Are the lizard boots we found, are they armored or are they normal good boots?
They're very good boots, probably mostly for walking long distances.
Yeah. But if they fit, Agrota would grab them because he might not have that good boots.
Probably they would fit. Probably they would fit.
You're a bit bigger, but maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe, yeah. And what about these nice clothes? Agrota, look at them. Will make you a noble lizard man.
The thing is, I'm not sure whether what clothing Agrota has at the moment, because it's.
I mean, you have some torn up armor.
Yeah. Well, if they are not only fancy but useful in the desert with the wind or sun.
Mostly white, yes.
Yeah, then he would absolutely grab some of them because.
All right.
Yeah.
Now you have a fancy lizard in a sand garb. Very peculiarly displayed thing that mostly consists of very thin clothing that is layered in 3 parts. Like, the outer layer probably absorbs most of the heat, while the others kind of disperse the moisture around the body and stuff like this. It has some intricate designs in it, some insignias with gold, mostly just images of lizards. But yes, it definitely looks good on Agrota.
Yeah, finally.
Oh, you look so nice. I'm proud of you.
Now I'm the good-looking one.
Yes, you are.
And normally, Agrota would have grinned at the moment, but he looks quite serious at you then. Yeah. So now, what shall we do? Did you find a map?
Talking about the map. Are there any maps around?
Good question. So you're starting to look about all the sacked supplies, like the food, the clothes, the shoes, anything that could make fancy. And you do find something. Let's see. Is it a map? No.
No.
It's not a map.
It's a globus.
No. It's not. But it is a piece of paper. That's why you paid attention to it and thought it could be a map. But when you open it up, you see that it's a letter of sorts. And you can definitely read some of it, but it's in lizard language.
I'll give it a look.
Would you like to help me with this, Agrota? And I just bring this paper to the Agrota.
He nods and takes the letter.
All right. So, you start reading through the letter, and it is quite simply the instructions for the bodyguards of a royal family. They are instructed to provide a safe passage from one stand to another. And by stand, it probably means some sort of a settlement within the desert, which is quite rare, but you think that those creatures definitely know their stuff about the desert. So,
Nice.
the directions are quite simple, and it actually refers to the stars, because, yes, navigating in the desert with a map would be completely stupid. So yes, there are definitely some references to the stars you need to follow in order to make it the complete way. Of course, right now it's daytime, so you wouldn't be able to completely understand, But from what you could gather, they would be well on their way to fulfill that goal. So they're probably following from one place to the other, and you know what they were following by, which are stars. So you know their destination, and you know where they came from. But trouble is, you don't know where they are.
Yeah. So do we see tracks coming to the camp where they came from?
Yes.
Okay.
Only to the camp, yeah.
Yes.
So after I found what is written there, I just looked at Agruta and asked him, "Do you think we are going to save Lizard Princess?"
I mean, there's talk in this letter about the royal family, so that might be a good call. But whoever took those lizards, and maybe the royal family too, they already hid the princess, maybe.
Are there any description of the place where they came from, or the place where they are going to? So we don't know anything about these two places, right?
We know where they are, but...
Yeah, okay. So I guess we should try to track these trails down to the place where they came from and try to find out what kind of enemies can attack them on the way.
Are there...
So, from what you could gather, you calculate that you are roughly in the middle of their travels. And from the looks of it, you would need a couple of days to make it either way, like to the destination or to the point of origin. So.
Yeah. Any clues about why they're going to the other direction? Are there any danger in the place when they were leaving?
The only thing you could kind of grasp on why they were guarding the royal family and why they were moving them from one stand to the other, it says that the ritual must be fulfilled.
Oh no. Ritual again. Not again. Okay. So they might be following to some holy place or something like that.
Maybe.
Or some ritual place.
Oh yeah. Not horses this time. Okay. If there are no direct sign of danger at the place where they came from, I still think we should return back and try to find out.
You want to go back?
Go back to the settlement or any place they are coming from and trying to find out who can attack him on the way then.
I mean, I think, I guess we, first thing, Agruta will go outside of the tents and grab his book of tactical advice and will search for the chapter about desert warfare and natural enemies in those areas.
Yes. Your hefty book is dropped within one of the tents, probably, and you start reading about all the intricacies of the desert warfare, which is a very cruel kind of warfare. First and foremost tactic is usually cutting the supplies of your enemies in order to starve them to death. if you can do that, you don't even need to fight them. The other kind of tactic is, of course, the ambush. Ambushing somebody in the desert is an easy thing if you can basically make sure that they pass through some valley or a particular well-preserved spot, maybe with a well around them or an oasis. You can definitely be sure that they're gonna go there, and you can exploit that. Another option, of course, is to find some desert scorpions or the deadly Karakurt spiders. They are very, very small, like an inch small. But the one dose of their venom is usually deadly for a grown-up lizard man.
Is there something about bigger enemies, like wilder animals in the desert, typical in the sand desert?
There are some parts about mythical creatures you can read upon. Mostly it says that you should be wary of them and try not to come across any. Like, first of all, there are some giant worms around. Another one is, of course, the sand demons. And you can never forget about the illusionary genies that are trying to lure people in with promises of hope and water. But in all actuality, they're just like leading them into quicksand.
Sand demons. Ecuador shows the passage to Denlin.
Do you think sand demons got those lizards here? Maybe. Do you know something about sand demons?
Is there a picture?
No. It's a military book.
I remember just the ones we just fight during old times when just came to this mortal world, but they're probably not the demons, but some kind of different creatures.
Oh yeah.
And they were also flying, right?
Yeah, some of them.
So,
well,
anyway, I think we should follow the steps. Another option is to try to find the place where they are going to.
Yeah. I mean, that might be interesting since they had the mission to do some kind of ritual, maybe, and the people at the target location might know more about it than the people in the
case if there are some people over there.
Yeah,
but
of
it's
course.
just a place where no one lives.
Yeah, but it might be a settlement. And if they have a couple of days travel from stand to stand, there has to be like posts where they can replenish their resources, or at least an oasis or something like that. So I would, yeah. Well, we have to wait for nightfall to orientate from the stars, I think, but
yeah, I think we can sleep or just lay down over the stands till the night.
What could possibly go wrong?
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
But yeah.
You wanna make camp and kinda enjoy the luxurious tents prepared all for you, of course.
Yeah.
So you vote
so.
for going to this new place, right?
Yeah. Might be. Well, we don't have any clue about the ritual thing, but it might be good to know. And since we are in the middle of things, literally, it wouldn't take much longer than going back.
Okay, that got me. Let's wait.
All right. So, you make camp and you just lower yourselves and several puffs in the bigger tent, probably. There's a lot more interesting stuff in there. Most of the food, to be one of them. And yeah, you starting to just lay down and rest a little bit. You know.
Yeah, maybe I just try to apply part of the lizard clothes to me, just to protect my head in future endeavor from the sun.
Yes, by all means, by all means.
Yeah, make something for my panther as well.
For your panther, no. I mean, you kind of can cover it with some clothing, but that wouldn't be too big of a help. But yeah, for yourself, you could find something, even though Agrita does know that those clothes are definitely girly. Those are girly clothes. But that's the best you can do. They're still a bit too big for you. But yeah, that's the best.
I mean, he's an elf, a half elf, so he has a little bit feminine face.
Yeah, I am.
Besides the beard.
Yeah, in the case if I can find some kind of knife or scissors, maybe, I can make myself more fitable for me.
So, right around here, they don't have any knives, no.
Wow, bad luck. Okay, let's stay with whatever we have.
I'm not sure. Do you have a knife? I mean, a simple knife. You might. Do you have adventuring gear, then?
Let me check it because I'm not sure. I lost almost everything. Well, actually, I have two uses.
I mean, you could find a simple knife.
Remember, it just reminds me, if I forgot to cross it. Oh, well, let's say I have it. I have it.
I mean, maybe you have a sewing kit in your bag.
Oh, yeah, why not? Always taken with me. Yeah, whatever. Just trying to do the best I can with whatever I can to make it more comfortable for me.
Yes, definitely. You do so. You spend your time, you prepare your garb, and it's much more suitable than it was, even though it is not perfect by any stretch. But, of course, spending time, you start to get a bit dreary from your travels. Do you want to sleep? You know, before the long night?
Well, I think we'll try to sleep, but not both of us.
Yeah.
As always, yeah, we'll stay on guard. I'll take the first, as usual.
Alright.
Agrita will take the second along with my panther.
Alright, sure.
Yeah.
So,
And when the both are settling down and making themselves comfortable, I would approach Denlin and give him a very serious look again.
Denlin, you remember your promise? What about the sword?
Oh, come on. We just lift it and you're asking me about it?
Of course.
Yes, you can trust my word.
I won't I won't wait too long for that.
We are close. We are maybe the closest than never before. So this is the last quest, and after we complete it, we probably can do anything we want to.
You won't talk yourself out of this, Denman. You made a promise.
Yes,
And I will wait for
you
it to be fulfilled.
You can trust me.
I hope so. That this didn't change.
And yeah, he moves away from him for now.
Oh, I just maybe whisper to myself, those lizards and those doom swords, as always.
Always those doom swords. Yeah.
Alrighty. Well then. Right then the sun is setting behind the horizon after a long heated day, and it's about to fall to the darkness, and the only light you're gonna be experiencing is the moon and the stars in the sky. It is time to finish the second shift, and you, Agratar, along with Liana, the trusty panther of your friend Dalen, are getting dreary and maybe sleepy a little bit. But hey, it's almost time to wake up Dalen. What do you do?
Are we inside the tent?
Yes.
Yeah, Agatha will. I guess he did that over once in a while, taking a look out of the tent, looking around. Yeah, how dark is it? Do we have moonshine?
At this point,
Right.
yes. The moon is starting to slowly illuminate the surroundings, but it's not completely dark yet. The sun still has some rays that are beaming down and kind of transparent themselves among the sand dunes.
And still everything dead around, deserted.
Looks like it, but that's a desert.
Yeah. Well, after seeing nothing especially, he would wait until it's time to wake Dalen and wake him then.
Alright.
Let's get some sleep.
You're waking Dalen. As you do so, roll me some wisdom.
Waking Dalen
Where's
is not
the-
a wise sin.
Alright.
Holy shit!
Right
It's an
when
hour of Denland, maybe.
right when you approach Dalen and are about to shake him, just to jolt him awake, you sort of hear some whistling, something is different. You look about yourself and you see the panther is definitely tense as well. She hears a thing. You jump towards the opening of the tent. You look out and you see that there's a cloud approaching you. But it's approaching against the wind.
Oh. So
Even so slightly, but you feel the breeze of the night. And you can feel that it definitely intensifies as the thing gets closer.
So is it? Can he assume how big that is? Is that like a real cloud of things or animals, or?
You see a cloud. You're not sure
okay.
what it's made of. It's a cloud.
And there's the noise.
Yes.
not remembering at the point that he might not be able to talk to Liana, he would he turns to her.
Wait, Denland. Might have to move.
And looks at the cloud, thinking about how fast the cloud is approaching.
It looks like that if it's approaching at the same speed, it's going to be on top of you within the next couple of minutes. And Liana just stands there, like, thinking probably something. You're not sure what, because you can't hear thoughts, unlike Danelan, of course, who is sleeping snugly.
Egoda gets back into the tent and grabs him by the shoulder.
Wake up!
Oh, it was a nice dream.
They are deadly. There's a cloud, an unnatural cloud coming.
Oh, what's up? Then just jump and trying to look around.
There's something wrong with it. Do you hear the noise?
You look around, you're in the tent.
Oh, tent. Yeah, just getting all everything and shaking out the dream from his head. Then trying to look outside to see the clouds.
You look outside and you definitely see what Agrita was talking about. It's getting way lower than usual clouds, but it's still quite high. Definitely at least a couple of 100 meters above the ground, and it is approaching. It is doing so, as you notice as well, against the wind. And it doesn't have the same reflectiveness of a normal cloud. It's not a whole bunch of vapor just flying about there. It's something that's moving, twisting, changing as it comes towards you.
Might be some sort of insects. Maybe we should hide. The tent, maybe we should dig ourselves into the ground or something like that.
Yeah, how hard these tents are? Can we just try to put the sand on it?
What? No.
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 It doesn't work like that.
Thought about getting into the tent and then digging a hole and hiding in the sand hole. That might be not an option in that short amount of time. But
the option we can try is just close it tightly. Hopefully, nothing will come inside.
Yeah, let's act like we're not here. I'm not sure about that.
Nobody
mysterious black swarm cloud.
Alright. So you go back in the tent?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to close it as tight as I can from inside.
Okay.
Probably grab some sand and...
I mean, there are some just pieces of cloths specifically to tie it in order to make it not open, of course. You don't want it to be open, especially during like sandstorms, stuff like this.
Oh.
So yeah, you close it down and you sit inside of it for a couple of moments.
Listening.
Yeah, for a couple of moments you listen attentively as the thing is getting closer and closer, and you can hear the clattering, you can hear the windy wisps on top of the fabric of the tent. It kind of whooshes things away, whooshes things around. You kind of feel a bit claustrophobic as you feel that very thing that protects you, so to speak, is so thin and so fragile that a more powerful gust of wind would just rip it away and leave you with no protection from whatever is out there. You sit there. Moments turn into minutes. Minutes turn into hours. You don't
What is the noise
feel
doing?
the change of noise. It's kind of constantly around there. You feel that with the all coming tension that consumes you, it feels that every second is a century at this point. Do you want to do anything?
Well, as long as the noise still is there, and it came closer, right?
Yeah.
Is it all around? Around.
At this point, it feels like yes, it's all around.
Yeah, I would try to move not a finger to be as quiet as possible.
All right.
Not to disturb something.
Maybe Denlon do make a pause and do some kind of a meditation, just put things.
So you wanna
to the side.
sit? You wanna sit really tightly, like don't even breathe too much. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. That requires some constitution.
Whoa. Why not?
Yeah. Why not?
Let's see how Dylan can concentrate enough.
Well,
Good.
not too bad.
How about Agrita?
Wow.
No.
Good.
Better.
Good.
I mean,
So,
could Denlon with his meditation stance help him get more
we'll see.
calm?
So, Daneland can stay calm and meditate, but
Oh yeah. You're naked again, dude.
not really. No. This time, Daneland feels the uneasy winds inside of his bag. He feels them wanting to get out for some reason.
Oh shit.
They want to. So, your best course of action is to just get to one of the walls, so to speak, and put it in the sand somewhere out. Just throw it away. Because otherwise they're going to get out, flip open the tent, and do something that you wouldn't really want to do. So, Dalen.
No, I'm trying to calm them down. I'm not leaving them.
Calm them down. Alright.
Yeah.
We'll see about that. But for Agrita, the bargain is quite different. For Agrita, the price of complete stillness is going to be that damn weird panther that sits right next to him and has all that fur that is really irritating for the nose, especially during such a tense moment. And when you're trying to concentrate, like, if you would just, like, throw away the panther, it would be fine.
Oh no!
Shit.
Not again.
How big is the tent we are in?
Two pieces. Not do it again,
The
please.
tent occupies around 5 on 5 meters of space. It's quite a big tent.
So yeah, would it be necessary to throw the panda out of the tent if it's that big?
Yeah.
Dang it.
I'll
So,
definitely try to stop
as Danelan is occupied with his bag of winds, Agrota is contemplating throwing away Liana. What do you do, guys?
Oh no.
Agrota, I think that's like a reflex. He notices that he gets like when he was at war preparing what is it, a trap, hiding in the bushes, and then a rabbit came to annoy him. Then he would simply throw it out to not be discovered. In his logic, so yeah, it's like a reflex that he would grab Liana.
Okay.
Not that he doesn't plan to throw her any way or other than, but well, it happens what happens. He doesn't think about what he's doing in that moment.
All right. So, a reflective grab of the panther that makes up a sudden as Danelan switches his attention from the bag of winds, in which the winds gladly take this opportunity to rip out of his control and fly upwards, fly above, and rip out the tent and attract all the attention of everything that could be attracted to you. And you find yourself completely surrounded with weird, sandy, twisting shapes as they're approaching you, and you definitely know those clouds above you, they were just sand demons waiting for something to happen, waiting for the new victim in their favorite playing ground. So, Danelan. And Agrota, who's currently holding Liana. What do you do?
Drop it! Just say.
Drop the thing.
I'm still holding a bag.
You're still holding a bag, but the winds are away. They're flying above, slashing, and they are the only ones that are standing between you and the sand.
I guess I can still, if I am holding the bag, I can still command them to make a surround around us, just to protect from everything.
Yes, you can.
If they can. Yeah, I am commanding this. And I commanding Agrota to put Liana back on the ground.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
As a quenching wind surrounds you with a whirlwind of sand and dust and what remains of the supplies in the tent, it's all twirling around about you, and you can see the sand demons are trying to fight and get close to you, but they're just breaking themselves as waves against the rocks, against the unwavering winds called upon by the bag. You see them getting really angry about this. What do you do? In a relative safety, but in a complete whirlwind and torrent of wind, of course, you do have a moment to collect yourselves.
Are we kind of hidden from sight at the moment?
No.
Okay. So the wind and the sand isn't that dense?
The sand is the densest on the outer rims of your whirlwind, because it seems like that's the cloud. That's what was making things, and it just consists of several dozen of sand demons at this point.
Agrota grabs his fire lamp and wants to mix the whirlwinds around with his magic fire, with the searing flames.
Good, good.
If he's wise enough.
Let's see.
Nope.
I'm trying to help.
All right.
With all my
How are you going to help him?
You're not putting the lamp in the right order. Don't know anything about those wings.
You have to rub it in
you're
the other
putting it
direction.
Against the circle. You should be following it.
Ah, so Danelan is using his
advice.
intelligence and trying to help Agrota. Making sure that he gives him all the lore about the magic lamps. Let's see. Maybe that would be enough.
Wow.
Alright. That's better. So, we're cranking it up to a 7 Agrota. Remind me, what's the result?
Actually, we never discussed that. What?
Oh, didn't we? Good.
No.
Good.
Great. You can just make it right now.
Yes. So, you command the fires to quench themselves all around you on the fiery whirlwind to make sure your protection is not only unbreakable but also is quite hazardous for the sand demons. They would be turned into glass instantly if they so much as touch this fiery cinder, but in your zealousy of making this protection so good, you forgot about protecting yourself. And you and all surrounding you are going to take your damage in fire. So roll it up, Agrota.
I got new clothes. I don't know what damage the
Your
fire
damage.
did. Oh, okay. Oh, that.
Good. Good.
What
I mean,
time low is good.
enough to make you feel the heat and be burned in several places. Especially Liana is quite unnerved by the thing. She had some nasty burns after this, but she's not completely burned. Neither are you.
Are the
And
clothes burned?
what?
Are the clothes?
Clothes?
No. Oh, yeah.
There are some patches of burned clothes, but it's not completely burned away.
Okay, that's good.
So yes, you have some control over it. It burned away around all of your small party, but still. It feels like your combined strength of magical artifacts manages to keep the creatures at bay, and they no longer want to fight you. You see them receding. They're kind of moving back a little bit, and then you see a bigger sort of a sand demon approaching, kind of coalescing from the pecks of sand, forming this weird, constantly twitching thing as it goes so close to the barrier you can almost see the heat starts to burn at its parts that resemble a face. It looks through at you, even though it doesn't have the eyes. You can just swear it stares at you, and then it speaks.
Who are you to find us in our desert? What are you doing here?
I could have given that little look.
We came accidentally here. The gods teleported us in this wasteland. Who are you? We are sorry to disturb your realm here.
I am Rashik, the head of our little coven here. We hunt a lot, but we don't like our favorite place to be disturbed. Those pesky lizard things did the same that you did, and we thought if we leave their camp here deserted and rotting, nobody would dare to camp here. But you did.
We had no choice. We landed in the middle of the desert. We searched for the first place to spend the night we found. It was an accident, so to speak. If you want, we leave immediately. We won't disturb you any longer.
Yes, that's what I want. Now stop this silly winds and fire.
And just when gentlemen come in to this discussion, and what about the lizard folks you're talking about? Where they are now?
What do you care about the lizards? You have one of your own.
I look at Agrita.
Or do you want to fight us?
You can tell something about this lizard man, maybe just that they're relatives of you or something like that.
Agrita shakes his head.
I think they know where they are right now. Maybe we'll try to find out.
We don't want to fight you, great Rashik. We were sent here by the All-Father to find the princess. Maybe beneath one of the lizards you found was the princess. Do you know something about them?
All the lizards that quench our sacred place. All of them will be sacrificed to the desert god. Now, if you don't want to join them, I suggest you leave this place.
As you see, his figure starts to unveil itself and turn into a whirlwind of sand as well, and the others kind of coalesce and form this bigger picture, this cloudy thing that starts rising above the ground, and you see it kind of starts moving away from you, going to the direction that you think it came from originally. There's still a very hefty wind all around you, caused by the things that Daneland's commanding, and they're still waving around some fire that is constantly pouring from the lamp.
Agura calls back the flames and puts it off.
Alright.
As soon as flames is off, I'll command winds to come back to the back.
They do so.
What do you think of that? Now we know where the princess might be.
The cloud starts to move away.
I think they took the lizardsman with to some place where they live, and they have to make a sacrifice soon. So should we follow this cloud, do you think?
Well, we don't know how much time we have. Might be a good idea to get some assistance at this.
Yeah, I don't think we can help those lizardmen against all the bunch of demons.
And we don't know where. We don't know where the ritual place is. which the Rashik spoke of might be far away, but sand demons doesn't leave traces in the sand. We won't be able to follow them.
Yeah, this is true.
And in the end, if the princess is sacrificed, maybe it also counts as hidden.
Scene.
Wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
It's not destroyed like we did with some guy.
King, yeah.
A king, yeah. Oh.
We could hide the remains of the... It doesn't say, the quest that didn't say anything about alive and stuff. I mean, it might make sense, but either way, I think we should, head and get from the stars, get the direction they headed, the party headed, and maybe get there as fast as we can.
All right, by all means. Now, who's going to be navigating?
Me, of course.
Good.
That'd be a good idea, because otherwise,
Sure. So, definitely, navigating could be done with either wisdom or intelligence. And who's going to be just scouting about for dangers, you know, as they are in the big, big desert?
I could have looked around. Oh, nobody else here. So. Yeah. He looks out for danger. Wouldn't that be worse to do?
That is either wisdom or dexterity, your choice.
Well, it doesn't make a difference for Agrota.
Well, still have a choice there.
Yeah, he takes wisdom because it's, yeah. Oh god.
Nice. Now, how about
everything?
How about Daneland there?
Yeah, actually I have this elven move of undertaking a perilous journey, and if I take any job I have done plus.
Good, good. Then it's all well and good, right? Nothing could go wrong. It's just that your scout is a bit off, and something happens. Oh, that's interesting. So, as you move about, and Daneland, of course, knows the very best route to take there, and he takes you there in only one day. Just one day. Of course, you would make a small stop under some rocks in order to just not be scorched to death by the midday heat. But then during the night, you start to approach that looks like a collection of rocky mountains of sorts. Well, if it could be called like this. You're starting to see small specks of light. Fire, perhaps. But as you do so, almost immediately as you walk by Agrota, you think there's a collection of rocks, and you kind of step over them. You move about in order to keep a close eye on everyone, and as you just making sure that everything is clear and good, and Daneland is focusing on the stars and just nailing it completely. Daneland, you hear your panther in your mind saying, It smells weird here. And then all of you hear the voice of one of the not really stones that Agritar just stepped over, and he says,
Why, hello there. Are you here to go on a great ceremony? Sorry? Hello? Didn't you see us?
Agritar.
and you look about, and you see that the stones, well, you thought they were stones, but they're actually 5 lizard men.
Lying on the ground?
Yes, they were lying on the desert floor.
Whoa. Gentlemen, there is it. Oh, I'm sorry. Kinsman. Fellow lizard men.
The one who spoke to you kind of raises himself up, makes a small bow to you, and says,
It is a great honor to be in the presence of royalty. I've never witnessed anyone from the family myself, but I am taken aback a little bit. I thought you would be under a greater protection of the finest warriors of the land.
Does he mean Agritar, or does he speaks to?
he speaks to Agritar, of course.
Okay.
Yeah, Dylan give Agritar a look.
But Dylan had the fine lizard woman clothes on. So. Okay.
Sure.
Well, sometimes it's better to keep a low profile. You surely know what I mean. The desert is dangerous.
Yes. But and the others are kind of like gathering around this guy, and they're just like,
we beg your forgiveness, noble one. We are just pecks, and the only thing we do desire is to serve you in every way you would need. Could we know how to call you?
Well, I lost my normal name long ago, but the great god of war, Ecuador, gave me a gift, so I took his name in his honor, and he granted me his favor.
they look at each other, kind of puzzled, just like.
We are not well versed in the godhood, or noble one. We just want your title, if we could know how to call you properly.
You can call me Lord. That should be sufficient.
And he gives them a serious, cold look.
Okay, so let's see how serious is your cold look. Charisma. Yeah, boy, some charisma there. All right. They're definitely unsure, but they are not speaking against anything. They are.
You can show these noble sins and closest to them to prove it. Wow.
So, at this moment, they are just like bowing down and just like saying, "Hey, are you here to just fulfill the ritual?" Yes.
Unfortunately, we face some troubles on the way, and I'm helping this lord to come to this place as fast as he can.
this is the first time when they kind of focus on you, Daneland. They look at you, and one of them says,
Is this thing It's not one of us. What is it, O noble one? Why does it wear the royal garb as well?
They call those half-elves. I met him far in a far land of here, and he was of great help finding ways. So I took him into my service to guide me, and he had no clothes. We came across an abandoned camp. Do you know about that?
Someone has a poor look right now.
Yeah, and just abandoned camp? No, we do not have any slightest idea. We are sorry, O noble one. We might not be of service in this.
We followed a larger group of lizard kin, where other royals, other important nobles traveled to the ritual, but we found the camp empty and deserted. Do you know something about them?
No.
The princess.
What about the princess? Is she coming?
And you see them quite concerned, and like right now they're not bowing, they're like mostly raised up, and they're just like, yeah, is she coming?
I did hope so, but I think the camp we saw, the deserted camp, was the one of the princess, and we saw traces of sand demons. I'm afraid the demons took them.
Oh no! No! What are we going to do? No! The ritual must not fail! We must call for help! Quickly! Quickly! Let's run to the stand! Let's run to the stand! We need to find help! The priests! The gold ones! They're going to help us!
No time to lose. Leader, lead the way.
Agora gives Denden a look.
And yeah.
Yeah, I think we should try to find out who can help us.
Yeah.
So
Make haste.
Yeah. So you running through the night, and the specks of light in the distance become bigger and bigger until it is revealed that indeed this rocky ravine houses hundreds of small fireplaces all around each. There's a whole bunch of lizard men, and in the middle there's a big cave-like entrance illuminated by several cascading lamps on either side of it, and it looks like all of them are filled to the brim with oil that is burning bright through the night. And you are making your way closer and closer, and as you go through you can see that the crowd kinda reacts to your presence. Some of them are getting closer and making the same gestures of appreciation that you've just experienced from those five, but your companions are quite distraught, and they're making their way to one of the biggest specks of fire, and you see all around it are 12 lizard men wearing like complete golden garbs, like from head to toe they're specked in gold, and they are just sitting there and chanting something around the flames. And as one of your companions approaches, he just like falls to his knees and makes a bowing motion with his hands, and is just like, great noble golden ones, I am a simple pack and I beg your pardon, but the great noble princess is taken by the sand demons. And you can hear a collective gasp from anyone who managed to hear his plea. And of course, during the calm night of the desert around the rocky ravine, his words are traveling long and far. The 12 figures.
Grab Agrita and whisper him. Are those priests of some kind? Do you know? Maybe they know about Agrita.
Do I know about those golden ropes, lizards?
Good question. I mean, there is something, just something, you have as a move that you didn't use. And I would give you some info if you would use that. Just
I do.
saying.
Oh. Yes. I'm not sure what you mean. Because I had a move, but don't have it anymore. A white one or thing?
I mean, isn't it the base one? No?
No, white wanderer was one of the 10 to 5 or 2 to 5.
2 to 5. All right.
And I'm not sure whether the.
Yes, I forgot you were so low of a level.
Yeah.
Painful to be Agrita. All right. Well, then your only hope is your intelligence. If you want to try to remember something about those guys.
Yeah. Don't leave me, intelligence. Oh, it does.
And even help can't change.
Yes. So, something happens.
So summon
Oh, shit.
something.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Well, as you see the priests kind of rise up from their sitting positions, they look worried as well. Well, basically everybody looks worried, but the main entrance, you look at it, and you can start to see just amberish cracks forming on sides of it, and you start to feel immense heat emanating from the structure, and you're quite sure something is about to happen, and you start to hear it just crumbling. It's starting to just shake a little bit, and a whole bunch of lizard men that are collected themselves around it. They are moving away, and you can see parts of the stone start sipping down, and then a bigger block of stone sips down, and then a whole bunch of stone just like rusting away, several of them just flying, and some land right next to you. One of the priests that wants to say something is hit in the head with it, and he flails some sort of a flask towards you. You're not sure what it is. It ends up right between your legs, Agrita, and then it is cracked by another peckle of stone as you start falling down.
The bottom of the whole camp is giving away.
The bottom of your part definitely gives way, as you, as well as the priests and the packs that been with you, they're falling down. All of you. The fall lasts for several seconds, after which you land somewhere, probably on a outermost level of the inside of the settlement, but you see that you're about to be entombed with sand that is rapidly descending into the same crevice that's been opened by this weird magical explosion. What are you doing?
I'm running to the side, away from it.
What?
Running?
You fell to the ground.
Oh.
So yes, Dalen is trying to run away while Agrata does what?
So I'll to get the right picture here. Are we in? We fell down like a into a big cave beneath the.
Yes.
Beneath the settlement? Or?
It looks like a cave structure, but it's more sophisticated than that as you look at it. Probably some underground tunnels specifically made by those people, but they are rapidly consumed by the sand that's just pouring down and is risking to just swallow you all.
So if there are there in the whole space we are in, are there tunnels going away from here, or?
Yes, there are.
Then if they are in reach, Agrota would get on his feet and head to some of the tunnels.
I mean, that would be lovely if getting on your feet would be so easy as you're getting fucking entombed by the sand! Like, that's your first problem. Walking away is not the big deal.
Well, not walking away, but getting out of the way by all means.
By all means. By all means, what do you mean?
Like crawling.
Crawling.
Away. Yeah.
You think that's gonna help?
Is possible at the moment.
Okay. So, let me picture it for you again, okay?
Yeah.
So you fall down. There's a whole bunch of sand below you because you just fell down. There's, I would say, just 3 entrances, like to the left, to the right, to the front of you. That could be your salvation, but from the top of the hole that you made, there's a whole bunch of sand flowing down as a waterfall.
Yeah. And
very rapidly. So
yeah, that's why Agrota wants to get away from that spot he is.
Yes, getting away from the spot is good. But, like, imagine you need to brush through a wall of sand. What do? That's the problem.
Yeah, but by the way, where Denlon exactly is right now? Is
on
it
the
also
ground.
Down?
But if we are we in the epicenter of the whole thing at the moment, or why is there a wall of sand between us and the?
It seems.
I imagine that we are right beneath it.
Beneath what?
Beneath the falling debris and sand at the moment.
I mean,
I see I don't see any barrier.
Let me explain to you again. So the thing caved in. Yes? So it's in. You fell down.
Yeah.
And it opened up a space for the sand from all sides to just like start pouring down.
And where we fell down wasn't near enough the border of the cave-in.
What?
I mean, if we're of course
You're in the middle of the cave.
Yeah, of course. Okay.
Because
right
it was caused by a thing that was literally between your legs.
Oh, that was the. I thought it didn't have. I had the connection because I thought that he put this thing on the ground when already the cracks came. Okay.
No. The cracks came. He lost the thing. It was cracked by one of the stones. It caused the thing. You fell down. Now it's all pouring inside, and you are getting a big risk of just being entombed in there.
Yeah, then.
By the way, just asking again, where is the Denlon is? Near Agrita or up?
Yeah.
Up?
Of course you are. Oh my god. Okay. You are completely just like bad at everything. So I'm going to paint you a picture. Bad at everything. So I'm going to put you here.
Oh, chaos! Oh my god.
Yes.
Just
So.
draw it in several projections so we can see
Sure.
You
So,
make a little cutscene.
A is Agrata.
Okay, I can see that.
Good. All around is the crevice. So,
Oh, nice.
right here, maybe a way out. Right here, maybe a way out. And right here, maybe a way out. But, you are down below, but from above, from all sides, there's sand just pouring in all the way around with all the debris, all the rocks, all the shits, and basically around here is a wall of sand. It's just pouring in, and if you don't come through some place or like jump out somehow, I don't know how, but yeah, then you're gonna be just under the sand.
Yeah.
So, and yes, so Daneland would not be just forgotten. I would just put it here.
Whoa, it's me.
Denlon, make a ladder. We put it into the sand, and then we climb out of it.
Says Agrita as the sand keeps coming. The sand keeps coming and keeps intensifying. And
how far away is the wall of sand and the downpouring sand away from us? How big is the whole thing?
basically, I would say this entire thing would be around 15 meters.
Oh, okay.
Not that far, but still.
Yeah.
The priests and the packs are trying their darnest to just kind of get through. And you can see a couple of priests are doing something, like looking for things in their garbs, probably looking for some implements that could help in just not dying. But at this point, they are completely distraught.
Well,
You have several
Denlon
seconds before you're entombed.
Yeah, Denlon is doing thing. He's
Can you make a big ladder?
No, not a ladder. It would be stairs, maybe stone stairs.
Stone stairs.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay, stone stairs.
Spiral stair out of the.
And the size is what?
Medium.
Medium.
Well, that's not that big.
That's human size. I mean, even if you condense it and say that it's so thin, it's just a stairs, they would be just like, okay, 2 human size.
Yeah, and that doesn't get us out of the. Oh well.
It doesn't. So you got 3 seconds left.
Well, but the place is
But I
so
still can
big,
make
you can't
some kind
fill
of
that up.
archway, so we are protected from the sand wall when we come to some direction from this.
What?
Yeah, I can make just a archway of some sort, of a stone one.
Just an
Just
arch.
protect us one direction we can run away.
Yeah, but we would still have to go over the little dune from
1
sand.
second left until you are completely buried in sand.
That's not realistic if it's that big.
Okay, I make an archway to the upper direction and
Okay.
we'll go this way.
Go which way?
As if I stand, where's the? I need a pen.
We have 3 exits, right? And we should pick
Possible
one.
exits, yes.
If I understand
Possible
correctly,
here. Possible here. Possible here.
wants to make an stone arc here to get through the downpouring sand. Is that right?
Yeah.
And I mean, is the blue circle? Is that like how high is that? I mean, is that a dune?
At this moment, yes, that would be forming on as a dune, and you are at the lowest point.
Yeah.
So yes, Danelan, you can create an arch there. That would hopefully circumvent some of the sand to run there or there, but you still have a big problem of getting there without yourself being buried, plus all the things around are kind of covering that thing from the top. You didn't create the tunnel, you just created the arc, so getting there is not the best choice of things, but if you started moving there, I want to know, how are you doing that?
I'm curious too.
And you got 10 seconds to decide.
It should be fast.
Fast. Is that the only description you can give it? Fast.
Whatever he's doing it fast.
Okay. So, you're just gonna run straight in, hopefully not gonna get buried. Yes?
Yeah, run with maybe big jumps. Just in a few jumps. Hoping to reach it.
That's sand. That's loose sand.
Jumping in sand. Okay. Agrita, what are you doing? You have 10 seconds to decide.
I summon the Grey Griffin right above us and to grab his feet and to fly us out.
Okay, that sounds more like a good option. Thank you. So, as Danelan is just jumping through sand and getting like completely waist deep and almost neck deep, and you're just like losing him, then you feel Danelan as one of the sharp claws of the great griffin kind of snatches your arm, rips you out. You have a dislocated shoulder at this point, but you are flying above and you're getting out of this weird contraption.
Come on, I was so close to this exit.
And we're getting you back.
Getting buried.
Yes, getting you back there. So, good news. Agrita did have some plan, or brains. So you're not dead. Yay.
Would have been a quite embarrassing end.
Yes, it would have been. It definitely would have been. So, that's what happens.
After all, the company buried in the sand.
Yes.
Not slain by the demon lord, not betrayed by the Allfather. Nope. We drowned in sand. Well,
so you surface up on the wings of your griffin. He lands you on the nearby stable place, and you look about, and all around there's some just debris, wreckage, and you can look at the biggest opening there is completely ruined. Like it's completely blocked by the wreckage. You're not sure what it was caused by, but like, definitely something trembled the land so vastly that it broke all those things. And all your comrades down there, you know, probably chilling under the sand. You know how it is.
There are no lizards left above?
Oh yeah, there's some lizards left above, definitely. Like, a lot of them, to be precise. Of course, some of them are injured, some of them are destroyed by... They are there, of course. I was talking about the ones who fell with you.
Yeah.
Well, what the hell was that?
Looking around the destroyed surroundings.
Dylan, you're okay.
Yeah, I guess. Thank you for saving my life.
Ekrata would grabs some dried meat out of his bag, throws it to the griffin, and releases it.
Thank
Alright.
you. You saved our lives.
Good. The griffin gladly accepts your snack and then disappears into the ether. As you are presented with almost complete silence, it's getting quite eerie.
Are there all the lizards in gold robes fell down, right?
The ones you saw, yes. So you look about.
Is there in the crowd around? Is there somewhere a lizard recognizable that seems like a leader, or at least yeah, gives orders to?
You look
others?
about and you see like a whole bunch of different kinds of lizard men. Well, what's different about them is usually their attire. Some of them are literally wearing some weirdly woven, almost sand color clothing. The others are wearing a grayish color with the same sort of fabric. Then you see the ones with a grayish color, but with pieces of like sheening things woven into them, almost like pieces of metal of sorts. Then you see the ones who are completely clad in interwoven plates of iron. Then you see the ones who are wearing garbs quite similar to yours, Agrata, but there's no gold in it, there's only silver. And then you see a couple of golden-clad people. You think they might be priests as well. But yes, there's a whole bunch of different lizard men around.
Ekrata looks to Denlin.
Should we try again to speak with the golden lizards, with the priests?
Yeah, I
Maybe we
think
should inform them.
this is the best option. At least this is what those poor guys tried to do before this accident.
Alright. So, as sound kind of returns to your ears after the adrenaline leaves your body slowly but surely, you make your way to one of the golden figures. It looks very, very sort of irritated and at the same time quite antagonistic as it's looking towards Agrata. You see him biting his upper lip and kind of shivering his tongue a bit too hastily, like... He looks at you and he says,
And who are you, must be? If you are not of the royal family, but you're wearing their carbs.
I'm a distant relative, so to speak, coming from the north. But we have important news.
Yes.
We have reason.
Yes, I've heard. The princess is not here. That means that the ritual is at stake. Who let this happen?
We have reason to believe that the caravan of the princess was attacked by sand demons in the desert. We came across their abandoned camp.
Sand demons? They would never attack us. They never do. All you have to do is just steer clear of their territories. Everybody knows that.
Well, that might have been the mistake of the caravan of the princess. She should have known that, but obviously they did not.
What? This is impossible.
Can does Akrita know the direction of the camp from here, from of the abandoned camp?
I mean,
So you could point it out
roughly
somehow?
speaking,
I
it's
think,
somewhere
then
in this
we can
direction.
Then Akrita gives it a thought, but he doesn't really know because he has no idea about that kind of stuff. He gives Stanley a look.
Yeah, I can guide you back to the camp and you can find out that we are speaking the truth.
I already think that you're speaking the truth, but doesn't change anything. We need to find the princess. If the sand demons took her, they would probably move her to the cavern. It is not a good place, but if we don't have a choice, we'll have to mobilize all the troops.
With the sand demons we saw out of the distance in the night, there was a bigger one. He seemed quite mighty. Does those wild demons have a master of swords? Could he be behind all that?
They worship the heretical desert god. They don't worship the sun as they should be, and they don't understand the pressures of the land, just like we do. They're just a bunch of barbarical creatures, animated by their puny god. No worries. We will call upon the might of the sun in order to cleanse their pestering existence. Now, if you are here to bring any other ill news, you can start now.
We heard word about a demon called Rashik.
Yes.
You know his name.
That is their leader. The biggest and the eldest one of them.
And it was him, leading the others through the desert.
Not surprising, of course.
It looks like we should make haste. There's no time to waste to save the princess.
Anyways, if you're here to complicate this any more if you want to, just get somewhere and by all means remove the royal garb. You're not fit to wear it.
And he turns away from you. He looks to one of the guys with iron platings embroiled in their garbs, and he says,
"You there, Iron. Collect the men. We must march towards the coven of the Sand Demons. Now."
And he's like, "Yes!
Yes, wise one."
And he starts running about and collecting all the people with the same clothing that he wears.
I would approach him and ask him about armor.
Do you have any armor for me?
So
I can't fight with those noble carbs.
he looks at you and he says,
Are you... What caste are you? Why are you wearing royal garbs? The priest said that you're not royalty. Did you steal them?
I was royalty, but in times of need, I know to defend myself, and I have the skills to support you in this quest, if you allow it.
he looks quite puzzled, and he says,
I'm not the one who says to do things. I'm the one doing things. And right now I'm collecting my brethren. So if you would excuse me, we have a coven to raid.
and
would nod.
yeah, he just like continues to run about. Nobody really pays too much attention to you, even though, yes, you brought a lot of ruckus with you. At this point, you see like more and more golden figures collecting about the one you talked with. It seems that they're discussing something in a quite heated argument. There's some silvery figures that are moving close to the iron ones. You're not sure, but probably they're going to follow as well. So, yeah, you're just standing there and everybody's preparing. Just grabbing weapons, ammunitions, all the supplies. Some of them are grabbing some sort of probably pieces of cloth, maybe for tents. I guess it would take time to get there. So, what do you do?
What does Dylan do?
I just came close to Egrita and speak to him. Maybe we should try to talk to these guys as soon as they are ready. So probably they allow us to help them in the quest. So I think you should speak to the priest guys. They are in charge, but maybe a little bit later when they calm down, because they're too nervous right now and too angry.
Well, you heard what the priest said. As long as it lasts, at least as long as I wear those robes, it might be difficult to get a point to come with them to fight. Maybe we should disguise ourselves.
As rocks.
Yeah. Or as bushes.
You still have this monkey with us? With you?
What?
Monkey with us.
Yeah, of course, but that's
looking around, are there some kind of buildings?
Buildings? God, no. You see a whole bunch of just rocks that have crevices in them. Some of them look like they've been made specifically by some miners, but other than that, nothing.
They were discussing some kind of ritual. Is there any obvious place of the center of this place when this ritual can be?
I mean, the obvious place was a big ass opening that was crumbled.
yeah.
Okay.
I mean, it was probably leading somewhere inside the big rocky thing. Maybe
Very
even deeper.
Yeah.
You don't know.
Might be worth to search whether there are other entrances around. I mean, there has to be. if they are not buried on the rocks.
So, as people, well, some people are collecting themselves and getting ready to march out, you are just brushed aside, basically. Nobody pays too much attention. You see people who are not wearing any sort of fancy clothing. They're just like lamenting in the background. Some of them are just like crying even next to their campsites. But none of them are like panicking or running about. But they are really, really distraught.
Are there is there equipment like clothes, weapons, or armor, or anything that is not in the center of attention of the people breaking up?
There's no piles of equipment around. No.
Okay. The thing is,
Come on, just put these clothes out and show the true Agrita to everyone.
yeah, says the elf.
Yeah,
The
close to
princess scarf.
like then.
Uh-huh. Sure.
Yeah.
So, people are starting to move away.
It is still night, right?
Yes.
The clothes of Agrita, would he are they all pieces of them richly and golden with gold and stuff, or could he remove the
Any
the cane,
signs of nobility?
get a little bit undercover?
Like
so
I
to speak?
said, no.
Okay. Yeah.
Like, they're very,
Makes
very different.
Yeah.
Like, the material is different. The fact how the gold is placed around is different. You even have some precious gems in there, like really small ones.
Well, actually, it might not be that bad to play the royal a little bit longer. So, yeah, Agrita, as long as Dylan doesn't have another plan, Agrita would wait for the people to go.
Okay, people are going. The golden priests are leading them.
Anyway, just maybe at a little bit distance, but we should follow them.
Okay, so you're following them.
Yeah. About how many lizards are we talking? Is this a war party with
About 100.
lizards, or is it
About 100.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is the moment Agrita was thinking about, probably leading an army to fight the demons.
Well,
Leading an
there's
army of
no
lizard
army
men.
and there's no leading at the moment.
Yeah, just a small step ahead you need to do.
And the group is completely consisting out of priests and iron ones, or are there others in the mix?
Like I said, iron, silver, gold. That's the mix.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so yeah.
So yes, all of them are starting to march through the desert. The priests are looking at the skies and giving directions. Then you can see that the silver ones are kind of organizing the iron ones. And they're moving.
Join them in not being too wait.
Annoying.
Yes.
Too conspicuous, but
Suspicious.
Oh yeah. No,
Yes. So,
not to not stick out of the crowd.
yes, I got you. But you are wearing royal garbs,
Yeah, of
so
course.
you would be sticking out of the crowd. Sorry.
Yeah, of course, but not doing special stuff.
Special stuff. That's good. That's a good one.
Keeping a little, not getting away too far, but keeping its distance to the, especially to the, to non-golden ones. So, I don't know how the marching order is here. So,
Well, the marching order is quite simple, just like I said. There's around a dozen of golden-clad figures, then followed by around probably 30 silvery ones, and then everyone else is clad in iron, and they're following. They're carrying most of the stuff.
yeah, in this case, Agota would head to the front, to the front group at least. It might be suspicious to.
The priests.
Yeah.
Okay, so you go to the front group, to the priests. What do you do? Like, they're mostly concentrated on bickering about themselves and discussing how should they proceed. And you kind of overhear several conversations. One of them says,
We should strike them with fires. They might be protected from that by the puny desert guard. He always keeps the moisture in the air to protect them, not to be burned. Maybe, but what if we take them by surprise? How are you going to take the Sun Demons by surprise? They're literally made of sand. I don't know. Well, maybe we'll approach at day. And fry ourselves? That's not a bad choice. We need to get to the princess. But what if? Now what if? As long as she lives, she can be used for the ritual. I'm not sure. What about those weird ones with the imposters in royal garbs will not be a hindrance.
like, around that time, they would be just, like, some of them just watching at you and just kind of tapping on the shoulders of the people who are discussing you, like, hey, they're right there. And just, like, all of them are just like,
What are you doing here? We told you to stay behind.
I have to make sure that the princess will be well. We won't disturb you.
She doesn't need to be well. She needs to be just alive. That's all we need. Anyways, what sort of caste are you, and why do you have a pet elf with a cat? Of all creatures.
Pet elves with pets are the best guides I met on my journeys.
Guide? An elf leads you through the desert? No wonder you got lost.
I guess so. I'm not home here, so I come from the north.
It figures. But I don't care at the moment. So why don't you just not stick your nose into high affairs? We're discussing important things here. Go meddle with the irons.
Agota sort of ignores his offer and keeps walking.
Go ahead. I won't disturb you. Your battle plans. if you have any.
What do you know about battle plans?
Oh,
Agruta makes a very vague gesture and thinks about how he would have let his own lizard tribe sacrifice to people like that.
yeah, that probably is a good moment to write your book of tactical advice how to fight sand demons.
But at the moment, since he's not God anymore, he keeps a low profile for now.
Okay.
Gives him only serious looks.
Keeping a low profile. Alright. So, a couple of days of journey actually pass as you go through the desert. And you kind of arrive at a very high dune. It gives you a lot of observation and elevation. And you kind of start seeing the biggest part here. As night comes down and the light sort of starts illuminating about, you can hear the clinging of wind, but there's no wind. And you start to look above the dune, and you look down from it, and you see a constantly moving and twitching cloud of sand that illuminates in a dome about a very, very big area. And you can sort of see through this twitching sand the sort of a silhouette of several buildings and a couple of other structures, and you're quite sure that it is a ruin of a city that is completely covered in this constantly twitching sandstorm. The light almost never touches the buildings, and from your high elevated position you can see that indeed somewhere within there are moving figures. Definitely sand demons are living here.
The dome itself is too made out of whirling sands.
Yes, it seems that way. And since we arrived here, we will make thinking here. So, Danelin, how much time do you have?
I think 40 to 45 minutes.
Alright. So, we're gonna have a small break here. And I think in around 10 minutes we're gonna be back. Something like that, okay?
I'll tattle a tale that is terribly true. Started out as a rumour, but suddenly grew. And it deals with a man and a horse in a ring. So settle on in and our song we shall sing. It happened one day in a ring by a farm, something that tragically brought so much harm. How could a place so abundant with charm create such a beast with a spear for an arm? And death and destruction is what you'll get when he's coming for you, and you kill you all wet, and he's big and he's strong. It's quite plain to see that this is the tale of the Knuckle of the Knuckle of the are big and evil and heinous. Who could it be? A set you free, it really must be an anus. Oh, Knuckle of the, it's easy to see in the terror you leave. It's raining on me, the village is burned and the taverns are mist, and the beer's all gone and the elders are pissed. And if they ever should find the fool, hang him upside down by his tool and spin him around until he gets sick. I should do the trick. Hey! Knuckle of thee, oh knuckle of thee, the terror you offer is high class. Who could it be? A set you free, a real, it must be a dumbass. Knuckle of thee, oh knuckle of thee, the horror you furnish is widespread. Who could it be? A set you free, a real, it must be an ox head. Now everyone knows no blood should spill in the sacred ring by the farm on the hill, and if this ever happens, then death you should fear. He'll kick in your nuts and he'll serve them with beer. So one final thought before I depart, and this, my friend, comes straight from the heart. We'd all be fine if not for that bill and that horse-killing wanker who opened up hell. Knuckle of thee, oh knuckle of thee, we cannot win, we must admit. Who could it be? A set you free, it really must be a dimwit. Knuckle of thee are big and evil and heinous. Who could it be? A set you free, it really must be an anus. I'll tattle a tale that is terribly true. Started out as a rumour, but suddenly grew. And it deals with a man and a horse and a ring. So settle on in and our song we shall sing. It happened one day in a ring by a farm, something that tragically brought us much harm. How could a place so abundant with charm create such a beast with a spear for an arm? And death and destruction is what you'll get when he's coming for you, and you kill you are wet and he's big and he's strong. It's quite plain to see that this is the tale of the knuckle of thee. Knuckle of thee are big and evil and heinous. Who could it be? A set you free, it really must be an anus. Oh, knuckle of thee, it's easy to see in the terror you leave. It's raining on me, the village is burned and the taverns are mist, and the beer's all gone and the elders are pissed. And if they ever should find the fool, hang him upside down by his tool and spin him around until he gets sick. I should do the trick. Hey! Knuckle of thee, oh knuckle of thee, the terror you offer is high class. Who could it be? A set you free, it really must be a dumbass. Knuckle of thee, oh knuckle of thee, the horror you furnish is widespread. Who could it be? A set you free, it really must be an ox head. Now everyone knows no blood should spill in the sacred ring by the farm on the hill, and if this ever happens, then death you should fear. He'll kick in your nuts and he'll serve them with beer. So one final thought before I depart, and this, my friend, comes straight from the heart. We'd all be fine if not for that bill and that horse-killing wanker who opened up hell. Knuckle of thee, oh knuckle of thee, we cannot win, we must admit. Who could it be? A set you free, it really must be a dimwit. Knuckle of thee are big and evil and heinous. Who could it be? A set you free, it really must be an anus. I'll tattle a tale that is terribly true. Started out as a rumour, but suddenly grew. And it deals with a man and a horse and a ring. So settle on in and our song we shall sing. It happened one day in a ring by a farm, something that tragically brought so much harm. How could a place so abundant with charm create such a beast with a spear for an arm? And death and destruction is what you'll get when he's coming for you, and you kill you are wet and he's big and he's strong. It's quite plain to see that this is the tale of the Knuckle of the Knuckle of the are big and evil and heinous. Who could it be? A set you free, it really must be an anus. Oh, Knuckle of thee, it's easy to see in the terror you leave. It's raining on me, the village is burned and the taverns are mist, and the beer's all gone and the elders are pissed. And if they ever should find the fool, hang him upside down by his tool and spin him around until he gets sick. I should do the trick. Hey! Knuckle of thee, oh Knuckle of thee, the terror you offer is high class.
Getting back to the scene at hand, our heroes are on top of a sand dune, overseeing the ruined city that is currently occupied by the Sand Demon Coven. The whole city is covered in a dome-shaped like structure that is completely covering it from any sunlight, and you can see that it's almost pitch darkness in there, if not for the small specks of light that kinda crackle through the small places between the sand. That's the only thing that gives illumination there. And that's the only thing that gives you any sort of sight as you see a whole bunch of sand demons moving about. Seems like they feel quite safe there. You see the priests start bickering again. Some of them say,
I think we need to strike now.
The other one says,
Nah, that would be suicide. We don't want that. Let's wait for the night. Let them leave. At least most of them. And then we'll strike. Of course. And why do you think they wouldn't notice us? Well, we would be sneaky. Who says they didn't notice us already? You're only thinking about the bad stuff, are you?
and yeah, it looks like it's gonna take a while. Agrita, Daneland, maybe you want to chime in.
Yeah,
I already advised Agrita to use his book. Maybe he'll find the page how to fight sand demons.
well, I mean, I already. It's not that specific, and I already.
But there are some mentions of sand demons in it.
Yeah, there were, right? But I mean, that's no. That's. It's about warfare, not a monster encyclopedia, alas, sadly.
But at least how you can find army of sand demons.
No, I'm not. I don't think that works that way.
Well, at least we found that wind alone with fire can hurt them.
Yeah. And the thing is, it might not be a good idea to open the large book right here in the middle of the crowd. They might be irritated by that.
So,
I'm just Denlon is just looking around the Sand Demon living place, trying to figure out what is the best possible way to come in if we are going to come in sneaky.
well, from the looks of it, doesn't really have an option to come in sneaky.
Yeah.
All the surrounding area is desert, so there wouldn't be any place to hide
There are no
behind.
bushes and there's no forest.
So it's just plain sight. And they will see you. If they would have eyes, maybe they have some other senses, you're not actually sure. But
So
what you are sure about is that this big dome-like structure of sand would definitely be a hindrance, because last time you checked, you can't breathe sand.
Yeah.
For some reason.
Yeah. Heard about that. I guess Akrata approaches the discussing priests and points at the large, the huge dome.
Well, for sure they didn't. They will notice the dozens of men we have here. But either way, we need a plan to go through the dome. You thought about that?
They kinda acknowledge your presence after a couple of sentences, and then one of them turns to you and says, "What? Of course we thought about that. That's what we're discussing here."
So where's the problem if you thought about that? You surely have a solution for that.
We have several. We're just discussing which one is best. Now, unless you have something to propose, just don't bother us.
I keep quiet. I listen. Go ahead with your big solutions.
Ah, why, thank you. You're so generous.
I know.
And he nods.
Yeah.
Let me know if me and my elven guide can be of any assistance.
And he gives him the smallest piece of a grin.
Yeah.
A twitching of his mouth, maybe.
One of the priests kind of rises up, looks at you, sizes you up and down, and says,
Why, of course. You can watch the rear, just in case we would be ambushed by something.
Of course.
Well, go ahead. Assume your posts.
Akrata stays where he is.
I'm watching our backs at this moment. We are safe now.
Our backs are quite safe, thank you. I was talking about the rear. But of course, you wouldn't know that. You wouldn't even know anything about battle placements. Anyways, the rear is behind the iron ranks. So go there.
Well, for sure the sand demons won't attack there. You are a much more valuable target for them. How could iron ones be any threat to the demons?
He's irritating me.
and the other priest is just like,
I think we should execute him. Yeah, I think we should.
and yeah, they're looking at you really intently, Agrata. There's this like moment between moments where you could do or say something, you know.
Akrata plays a little casually with the jam-ridden hammer in his hand.
Well, I'm not sure whether that's a good idea at the moment. I think
Pointing with the hammer in the direction of the dome.
we have much greater problems. Afterwards, we can talk about that matter. What do you think?
They kind of look at each other, and then they look at you and say,
I think we should execute you and then do the big stuff. You're too irritating.
You there? And he points at one of the men in silver. And he says, yes, wise one. Execute this, whatever he is, and his pet elf. You can keep the cat.
Agruta stares the guy down with this mighty charismatic look. He shouldn't dare to lift a finger against him, against his royalty.
At this point, everybody knows that you're not royalty. You're just some schmuck in royal garb who's irritating the high priests.
Probably Dylan tried to step out and just bow to the priest and say, "Oh, I'm so sorry, maybe too much wine to my master. Master, please come in, come out. You have to sleep. You have to sleep a bit, and later you can talk."
Now that is a charismatic move.
Yeah. We keep this one, he's funny.
Go ahead, Damon. Don't fuck it up.
Yeah.
Alright. That was a close one, but there would be a price, wouldn't it? Let's see what it is. Oof. Yes, the priests. Yeah, the priests kind of laugh at you. Then one of them says, "Well, it's probably right. Another option. Give him a good whipping." The silver-clad lizard nods and unsheaves a small whip, and then kind of points you in the direction of the sand and says, "Lie down."
Agruta looks behind him because he doesn't accept that he means him.
What do you mean? You can't.
I mean,
whip.
lie down, and I'm going to whip you.
Well, I don't think so. I have no time for this.
And Agruta would turn around and walk down the dune in the direction of the dome.
Oh. Oh, I'm so sorry. Then tries to bow and came to the same direction. I'm so sorry for my master. Too much wine. Oh, not this time.
Okay, Dalen. You're here trying to save lives. Go ahead. Roll me your charisma again. Roll it. Maybe it's gonna be good.
It can be bad.
Maybe
Denland would be ripping one.
You're cutting it close, man. You're cutting it close. Maybe if somebody would play along for once, you know.
Hearing the words of Denland and thinking about what all the people would make in respect, Agruta begins to walk a little bit uncertain, like drunk.
Good.
Missteps.
I would say you can use either charisma or dexterity in order to do that.
Let's do dexterity.
Let's do that then. All right, cranking it up for Dalen.
Oh, team play.
Yay! Team play saves the day as you're walking in the distance, and you, Dalen, you kind of take a couple of glances back, and you see sort of a golden lightning sparkling between the fingers of one of the priests. But then he loses interest in you, laughs a little bit, and they continue discussing things.
I just joined Agruta and whispered to him, we were close to some big trouble here.
Tell me about trouble.
Yeah, so you're closing into Agrada?
Yeah.
Yeah, Agrada continues with his walk in the direction of the dome, on the dune.
Okay. Like, that would be around, like, maybe 5-minute walk, not that long.
Yeah, he's not hurrying. He's walking slowly, more in talking to Danlon.
All right.
Well, what do you propose? I think our lizard friends here are not really friends. They might even endanger the life of the princess. You heard them. They might be ready to sacrifice her. I cannot allow that.
Yes, I think so, but they might be useful in distracting the sand demons.
Well, then maybe we can strike a bargain with Rashik. Maybe they let the princess go for a price.
And Agrada gestures over the shoulder to the golden robes, golden ones.
All right.
Good thinking.
They have no value for us, and they cast us out. So I have no feelings for them. What counts is the princess.
And he gives Danlon one of his looks.
And the sword. I didn't forget that.
Oh, yes. And the sword.
Agrada grabs him with a firm grab at the shoulder.
Danlon, I made a promise. And I will remind you. And I won't let you go away without it. I'm not leaving without a sword.
Yeah, just don't be mad about the sword all the time. Just relax and concentrate on what the problems we have right now.
The
We'll
problem
come
is...
to this later.
The problem is that the sword's gone. And you made a promise to give it back.
Yes,
You make a promise.
yes. Now, let's go on.
And yeah, you find yourself just a minute away from completely constantly changing, twitching dome of sand that doesn't look any less menacing up close. Maybe even more so.
So is this from up close? Is this more like from the density like a force field, or more like a dense sandstorm?
Yeah, imagine if you had a glass of water and you would just pour sand in there and whirl it around with a spoon. There would be a whole bunch of sand all about it. So that's the same thing, but the sand is seemingly animated by the wind or something like it. It's just constantly washing about the ruins of the city.
Does it make noise? Is it noisy here?
Yes. Like I said, like the sound of the sand, the sound of the wind brushing through the streets, crushing through the buildings, all of it. So yeah, you're standing there. You see slightly that the figures behind this dome of sand start to coalesce. They definitely noticed you.
And we are from the dune of the Golden Ones and the war party. We are like 10 minutes away.
5.
Okay. So if Agrada would shout very loud in the direction of the dome, they might hear it too, right?
maybe.
So we should come closer, maybe?
What? We? Or
Closer.
them?
Closer to the dome?
I mean, we are right at the edge of the whirling sands at the moment.
Yeah.
Ekrita slowly approaches, steps forward I mean, the thing is, he doesn't really know how hazardous is the whirling sand is, whether it will blow away the flesh from his bones or only give him.
Yeah. Do you want to check it out?
Yeah, go slowly, going forward into the sand.
Slowly going forward into the sand. Okay, roll your constitution.
Yay!
Okay. For you, that would be a minor inconvenience. For you, that would be -1 ongoing as you are operating within the sand.
Yeah.
You are the lizard man after all. So, how about you, Dalen? Are you following him?
Yeah. At the moment, then thinking about this crazy scene going into this sand, and then he just trying to do it carefully.
Trying to do it carefully.
Yeah.
Using
just
your
not
constitution.
Too much. Not to hurt
Let's see.
himself too much.
Okay. For Dalen, it would be Asha.
Good. Could I give him a hand?
A hand?
Literally.
Not in this case.
Okay.
So, what's going to happen to Dalen? Of course, -1 ongoing as well as Agrita, but he will become scarred and sickened by the sand. So 2 debilities for you.
Okay.
So yeah, basically the sand is constantly whipping on your face, making it sort of a mush of slightly irritated skin, some small scratches and scars, and as you breathe, the sand kind of recedes in your lungs, and you have this constant need to cough, and it's getting too much for you.
So
I
the
see.
whirling sand seems to fill the complete dome, and not only is like a wall.
It's not a wall, no. Like I said, you are walking inside of it right now,
Okay.
but you are feeling very, very much out of place, of course.
Are there buildings of this destroyed town in the vicinity near us?
Yes, and you are kind of walking on the main street through the front gates, so to speak. And you see coalescing figures of sand demons start to surround you. What do you do?
As best as he can, he would. Akota tries to shout for a sheik.
Rashik!
As best as you can.
Yeah, it might not be that good to shout in the sandstorm.
Alright, I guess another constitution roll. Okay, that's a 7. So you can do it, but there's a bargain. So yes, remind me, Agrita, do you have any weapons except your hammer?
I have crystal shards. I don't have the ballista.
Not really.
I have highly flammable coal armor that could be weaponized.
Yeah.
No real other weapon, I'm afraid.
Alright. So you do call out for Sheik, and you do feel the sand demons surrounding you, and one of them goes real close to you, and it speaks again. It's not for Sheik, not that big, definitely. But it says,
Give us your weapons, then we will let you see your Sheik.
Well, does Dylan hear that too?
I'm not rolling anything. I have no weapons. I'm just common servant of your mighty lordness.
uh-huh.
Explain that to the sand demons.
So, do you accept?
I am at your mercy already, so... But I'm nothing without my weapon. You better search for Rashid. I have an offer for him.
You see the figures start moving towards you slowly as the creature that asked for your weapon repeats,
If you don't give us your weapons, we are going to sacrifice you as well. We're going to throw you to those lizardy things, and you're going to be sharing their graves.
I look at Agrita. Joining this lizardy things?
Joining the cold ropes.
Thinking about the hammer's ability to return to his hand, he... yeah, Akura lets go of the hammer.
alright.
Because at the moment the whole situation is... It doesn't depend
Good.
on the hammer, though it is quite dear to him, but... Well, that's a greater cause.
Good, good. So you let go of your hammer, the creature takes it, then it moves towards Danelan. It looks at you, Danelan, longingly. It waits for a weapon.
I give them a crossbow. The only weapon, a melee weapon I have.
Uh-huh. Sure. It takes a crossbow. It gives both a crossbow and hammer to some other guys around. And then it looks at you again, Danelan. Just like...
I'm not sure this is all.
I'm giving my common bow. I have a lot of weapons.
He takes it. He passes it to another guy. He looks at you again, then.
It reminds me of the old scenes from my movies where some guy disarming another guy and he still has some pistols
Yes.
somewhere.
Oh yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. So, piece by piece, I presume Danelan disarms himself.
This is the way we are going to pass.
Alright. Good, good. So finally you are both disarmed. And yeah, you are passing through the sandstorm. Oh yeah, by the way, Danelan.
Yep.
Since Leanna is following you, I'll need you to roll another constitution. That
Wow.
would be for Leanna.
Alright.
Yeah.
Can I just leave her nearby? Just not going with us?
Outside? Yes, definitely. I just
Yeah.
thought that you wanted to...
Let it be a little bit safer.
Good, good. She's safe. Leanna is outside of the dome. But you guys...
Maybe hiding somewhere.
Oh,
Yeah,
yes.
in plain sight.
She dug herself a hole in the sand and just like sitting in there.
Yeah.
Of course.
Those fools again. Every time.
Definitely. So, a couple of minutes of walking through this dreadful sandstorm, and you find yourself next to what probably used to be a coliseum for this particular city. In the middle you see several cages. In them, lizard men. Most of them have iron garbs similar to the ones that accompanied you here, but several, to be precise 4 of them, have the royal garbs. Among them you see around every cage several sand demons. In the middle there's a big one. Your guard approaches him, and then you see the big figure move its way through the sandstorm towards you. It concentrates itself again to speak, and you hear a familiar voice of Rashik.
Ah, so you made it to our coven. What brings you here? Have you come to witness the greatness of the desert god?
Indeed we did. But also, we want to make you an offer. We are on the quest for the All-Father, and we need the princess. But we are willing to assist you in overthrowing the lizard war party outside of this tomb.
Those heretics are coming here.
Yes.
They would make a glorious sacrifice.
I've
All of
heard.
them.
They would probably try to use their heinous magics in order to break the dome. But all we need to do is wait for the night to come. That's when they have no power. And they're gonna be whisked away. Just like everybody else. So, what do you really have to offer?
We have tools at our proposal. Mighty artifacts of all times. We can help you delay the approach of the army outside. If you're willing to give us the princess.
All right. It could be a good bargain. But tell me, what's so special about this princess?
Yeah, those heretics just wanted to do some crazy ritual, maybe killing her, and just maybe call for some power.
Yes, I know. I know about the ritual.
Sacrifice.
Yes. It is their special ritual when they call upon the power of the sun god. They're getting really powerful after that. One member of the royal family gets sacrificed, and the whole gets a boon. But
Well,
what if we sacrifice her to the desert god? So there would be no more power for them.
If you allow us to bring the princess away from here, then we can make sure that she will never again be seen. And we make sure that the knight will get the army outside.
Alright. Let's
You will be
see. Let's see. How charismatic is Agrita?
My God. Wow.
Oh!
Even Denland was so impressed.
Yeah.
Depends whether the -1.
Alright, alright. Rashik agrees.
But I am also speaking.
Yes, sure.
Yeah.
Definitely. But yeah, Rashik agrees to your deal.
Wow,
He orders his men to return you your weapons. And one of the cages gets opened. And Agrita, you are slightly taken aback by the resemblance. The female lizard that you see before you definitely looks like a lost goddess. You definitely saw her somewhere in the pantheon, but you can't remember. Like, it was so long ago, and like she was completely forgotten. But this creature, it's definitely not a god thing, probably, right? Why would it be here then? Would be silly. So, in a custody of several sand demons, you three are guided outside of a dome where Liana is waiting for you. As soon as the princess is out, she starts running.
Oh, I stopped her immediately.
She runs to the side, basically. Like, you see that the dome is behind you, the army on the hill is, like, to the front of you, and she runs to the left. Like, immediately.
Yeah, I mean, grab her when he starts running.
Oh, okay. Okay, so, Danelan.
Yeah.
You want to be really quick and grab her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Elvis.
Okay. Danelan dexterities. Saving the day all day long. Let's see.
Come on.
The first roll of dexterity today.
Yay! Let's do this.
Oh, let's see.
Woohoo! Come on, come on, you can do it.
Well, it's not pressing it.
It's not pressing it. Come on, don't be shy.
My
Don't be shy.
dexterity is not working.
Oh my God! He is being
What
crippled.
happened? It's some demon trickery.
Agrita,
Maybe
do
reload the
something. Danelan is paralyzed by the sand demons. Oh no!
Liana could help you, right?
He can
I-
catch her.
Not really. That's not how it works. But you, Agrita, you could help. But question is, how?
Throwing a hammer?
Yeah, in a non-lethal way.
Absolutely non-lethal way. Uh-huh. Not really. Not an option.
No, I don't think so. Especially with the red gem, that might be quite lethal.
So,
well, how could he? Is Denlan? Well, how does Denlan try to? Does he simply darts after her? Or?
Run towards her and trying to catch, I believe.
Agrita would try to at least maybe irritate her with a loud shout.
Princess, stop. We are here to help.
literally, that's the best. Okay, we'll just say that Agrota is capable to produce some sort of a thing that would be able to maybe assist Danelan by using his charisma.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Oh my.
Yeah, that's about that.
Yeah.
That's about that.
Yeah.
So,
Plus 3 means 9, right?
so what happens is,
Oh.
two things. First, something happens. Well, two things happen. So yeah, 1, 2.
Oh fuck.
Okay, interesting.
Great. Oh my god.
So, at first, Danelan jumps towards the princess as he tries to kind of grab at one of her legs as she's running about. But then your panther, Liana, kind of brushes you to the side as you see that in front of you, right below the sand, there's a giant worm just kind of leaping out and trying to eat you at the same time that you were jumping towards the princess. It seems it was aiming at the princess, and if you would just grab her, it would munch at your arm, but your panther helps you. At the same time, you hear the weird, incoherent noises from the crowd of lizard men on top of the hill, and you see a crackling of just golden lightning goes on somewhere into the sky, and then it transforms into a beam of light that concentrates and breaks through the barrier that is the sandstorm. Inside you hear the ruckus. Some of the sand demons pour outside through the barrier. The princess continues to run, and you, Agrota, at this moment, you do remember, like, what was the goddess that you were thinking about. As she runs, and underneath her feet, the sand turns into glass. She was the goddess of fire.
Wow.
And that is where we're going to stop.
Yeah.
Oh.
Wow.
Good story today. Yeah.
Oh man, it's so tight. Tense.
Okay.
Wow.
So,
We didn't die.
yes,
Good job, guys.
definitely, definitely. Really, really good, calculated, careful plays here. So, we will ask ourselves some questions.
Yeah.
So, did you learn anything new about the mortal world?
Not really.
Some sacrifices, some godness around the mortals, nothing special.
Yeah, the usual ritual stuff in the mortal world, right?
Usual ritual stuff. All right, by all means.
At least, yeah, at least not about the mortal world. no.
So I don't think you did finish a quest this session.
Not yet.
Not yet.
The quest is running.
You're
away.
getting there. Yeah, you're getting there. So, did you prove yourself capable to achieve ascendance? I don't think you did.
God.
Well,
Get further and further away from that.
the only thing we were able to do together is to stop sand demons to attack us.
That's
Yeah.
good. You
This is
stopped
the one
people from attacking you on several occasions. I say that's a win. Good,
But
good.
Uh,
it's not-
So, alignments then, boys. Agrata, anything about conventions of civilized world? Has
Nope.
been shoot? No?
Well, no, there was no. I mean, it was. We had some trouble here, and the convention was broken, but it was not Agrada's doing. So.
I mean, you were literally breaking all the rules of the caste society that have the lizard men in them.
Right, from that
So,
standpoint. I mean, yeah, that fits quite because he broke every civilized
Yeah,
taboo or rule in this
exactly,
regard.
exactly.
Yeah, I'm level 1.
Some revolution among.
Level 1. Good, good. I can,
lost my hammer.
I can feel your anger.
Oh my god.
Daneland,
Nope.
you're not helping animals, man.
No animals around except my Liana.
It's strange, but come on, like, didn't you protect your pet?
By letting her stay away from this crazy sand dome?
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
You didn't
is
force her to.
yeah. Yeah. Keeping her out of trouble.
Yes, yes. Taking care. Taking care. All right. That is a thing.
Bonds?
No, I don't think Bones works this time for me.
I have nothing solved, but I replaced the one where I could have wanted to show then the good thing in life about killing. I replaced that with get Denland to fulfill his promise to get the sword.
Oh yeah,
Because
that's good.
really-
That's good. That's a good bond. I say we'll see it resolved
Yeah.
some way.
One way or the other. Yeah.
All right, guys. Well then, it's been a nice game, and
Yeah.
we'll see what's gonna happen next session. Maybe you'll finish the quest. You know, maybe.
Yeah, why not?
nice.
Yeah.
And by the way, I have a question. All these debilities I have, are they gone when I come out from this dome or not?
So it's a simple question. That's a very good question. So, imagine a sand cutter was worked around your face, and then you kind of walk away from a sand cutter.
Yeah.
Would your face be fine?
What about Constitution?
So imagine you breathe in a whole bunch of sand, and then you stop breathing a whole bunch of sand. Would it help about your
Yeah.
coughing?
Sure.
Yeah. When you have a few weeks to recover, yeah.
Oh wow, not 2 weeks.
Actually, it's just 3 days, but you know, you can always chug a health potion if you would have one, yeah, you know.
Oh, who cares
was a
about
long time
health
ago.
potions? Oh, okay.
But yeah, that's how it works. And we'll see. We'll see if you can hide this princess.
She'll
Next
probably
session.
hide herself.
Not at the
with
moment.
running as fast.
We'll see. We'll
No.
see.